Aloha! This is Isla Allgood of Becoming You. Thanks for tuning in today. As I was thinking about what to talk about today, I asked my spirit team to be with me and to bring forth some wisdom that could be helpful based on my own experience as well as what they can bring through me. And I want to talk to you today about the power of intention and how setting an intention in your life helps you to manifest what you want in your life. One of the things I find out in coaching is a lot of people don't know what they want. They only know what they don't want. And that's valuable. There is value to knowing what you don't want, but it needs to be replaced by what you do want. And instead of talking a lot of abstracts, I'd like to do a little storytelling in conjunction with some of the things I've learned throughout life and continue to learn every day. As a child, I was able to find things that my mother lost or couldn't find. She'd say, "Have you seen blank?" And I would disappear in our house, and we had like probably an 1,800 square foot, 2-story with an attic and a basement. And there were a lot of places that thing could be, but usually within 15 minutes, I would go and bring it back. I had a very strong intention of getting what my mom wanted because she would light up when I would bring it to her. And my mom was kind of a serious person who was depressed a lot, so to get to do something that would make her happy like that, even if it was just for a moment, it was what motivated me as a child to access something I didn't have words for. Going forward in my life, I want to say when I was in my 30s, I noticed this thing would happen with me. I'm a fix-it person. I've always loved to fix things. I learned it from watching my grandpa and also trusting that I could do it. That's again the intention. A friend of mine asked about 10 years ago, I fixed something, I don't know what it was, a door handle, and it was at her house, and she's pretty handy, but she couldn't get it. So I said, well, let me take a look. And I don't know what I did. She said, how do you know how to do that? It's like, I don't know. Maybe a little bit is knowledge, and maybe a little bit is intention that I'm going to do it, just that positive possibility of I can do this, and then consciously or not consciously asking for help from spirit. Sometimes over the years I've been doing, I did farming for a bunch of years. I'm a girl from Brooklyn. I knew nothing about farm equipment, but when I would go into deal with something with this tractor, and my grandfather was a master mechanic in life, and he's the one I used to watch do things, I started to ask him. I was like, Grandpa, I need your help. Help me figure out what I'm doing here. Because I'm not one to like read the manual and go take a class. Well, there's no classes where I live. You can see in the reflection, this is rural out here. So I had to just, figure things out a lot of times. And for me, it's setting a positive possibility, setting an intention that I can do it. And what happens if I don't do it? Well, then I go get some help, right? But in the meantime, I'm kind of orchestrating the universe to support me in doing whatever this is, whether it's simple as fixing the doorknob or getting the tractor to run when it's not running, or I had to replace one of these huge tractor tires, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm going to have to access some new information for this because I think I've changed one flat tire on a car in my whole life. And what's the value of this? Well, I'm talking about very practical things, right? And very practical things lead up to sometimes grander things. The process is a trusting process, and it starts it may start small. And what I want to encourage you to do is paying attention to when you get stuck, when something's happening in your life and it's not coming together. Are you throwing your hands up and saying, I've had it, nothing goes right for me? Is it that kind of energy that you're putting out? Or is it like, I give up, somebody help me, I need help? It's great to ask for help. And whether that help comes from a physical person or who comes and helps you with something, or your spirit team, you call on your grandmother, Grandma, I need your strength, I need your kindness, whatever it is that you need to be more conscious of asking for it, helps you to get what you want. The universe, we're in this universe of what you put out, you get back, right? So if you put out what you want, you're much more likely to get what you want than if you put out what you don't want. This is something I see a lot, and I talk about this in languaging, is that people often say, I don't want to go, let's say a high school kid, I don't want to go to college. Well, what do you want to do? I don't know, but I'm not going to college. Well, that's okay, that's a first step, and it's valuable to see what you don't want. But then there's that need to find out, what do you want? And that requires listening to your heart, listening to your intuition, paying attention to the things that stimulate you, that energize you. I brought a little this here. I don't know, can you see it? I think you can. Anyway, this is a container, and it's filled with screws and nails and little tiny pieces of not much hardware, mostly screws and nails. And I learned this in my 30s, that I used to feel bad that I did not have all of my hardware organized. Being organized, I can do it. But it doesn't come naturally. It's something I have to work at. Well, I started to see there was value in not being organized about this, because now this isn't what I would use if I was building a house. But when I'm going to fix something, when I want to hang something, when I want to join something together, I'm going to go to this. And I learned that if I believed the size screw or nail would be in here that I needed, 9 times out of 10 it was there. And I began to trust that more and more and more. Why am I telling you this? Because this is a step in that process of trusting your intuition, of putting out to the universe what you want. I want a 1/2-inch screw to fix this thing over here. I'm going to find it when I go in there. That's what I do. It's like a game. I'm going to find it. It's going to be there. And 9 times out of 10 it is. And if it's not, well, then I go find it somewhere else. The point is that by putting out what you want, asking for what you want, believing that you can have what you want, these little things become what you're seeing out there. This land that I'm sitting on, this property, this building that I'm sitting on, wasn't here 10 years ago. This is a property that my wife and I purchased. It was just grass. We've planted thousands of trees, built buildings, and well, there's a lot of hard work in that. Yes, absolutely. But there's also a belief of being able to do it, of wanting to do it. And why? Why would you want to plant thousands of trees? Well, because the earth needs trees right now. We need the oxygen. We need the trees, 500 palm trees that we have out here. This is food. We planted hardwood trees. So it's not all about us. It's not that we're going to reap the benefit of all of this. Maybe we do get coconuts. Maybe we'll continue to get coconuts. Sure. But what about in 50 years? Let's see, I'll be 108. I might not be here. And if I'm not, somebody else will be, and they'll be picking all these coconuts. This will be feeding. Let's see, we figured each tree, 100 coconuts a year, 500 trees, 50,000 coconuts a year. That's a lot of coconuts. That can feed a lot of people. And that's two of us who made a decision to do this, that put out in the universe that we wanted this kind of an experience, and the universe helped it to happen. We didn't sit back and wait for anything. You know, it requires, to get what you want, to have the experiences you want, you do need to take physical steps towards it. But first is getting clear, what do you want, and maybe looking at why do you want that? What's the experience you want to have? I know that coming here and doing all this farming as a girl from Brooklyn, I was up to a task of everything being different. I grew up in New York, and here I was in the tropics, and everything was new. Everything was different, and it expanded my mind, and I wanted that. I wanted that sense of expansion, and I still want it. And at this point in my life, planting more trees isn't how it's happening for me. I'm finding other ways to get that expansion. So we keep changing, we keep growing. And the more conscious we are about who we are and what makes us feel alive, what makes us feel passionate, what makes us feel joy, the more we can attract that into our lives. Does it mean I walk around with a smile on my face all day long? No. There's ups and downs anywhere. With all of the things I've experienced in my life, ups and downs is the name of the game. You know, it's just that there's a joy even in the down, even in the low, even in the grief, even in the sadness. Part of that is accepting what is. Where I want to leave this with you today is about intention. Look at your life. Look at where you have set an intention and you got something you wanted. It could be a relationship. It could be a job. It could be having a baby. It could be getting a new car, or getting a car, or transportation, or getting a pet, or many things. I can't name anything. I can't name them all, but you get the idea. Where have you set an intention and you got something that you wanted? Or when did something happen in your life that was magical? And go back and kind of unpack it and look at what led up to that. Was it just magic? Was it just came out of thin air and it just happened? Or did you have some kind of an intention around that? Maybe that you thought about, or you wrote in a journal, or you wrote on a dream board, a vision board. And so look at intention, look at where you've been, where that has showed up in your life. And then start thinking about, what do I want? And when I say, what do I want? What's going to make you feel more alive, more engaged in your life? And if you don't know, that's okay. You can put out that you want to feel more alive. You can put out that you want to feel more joy, that you want to feel passionate about something, about someone, about the world. Whatever it is, you put it out there, what you want, and stay away from the trap. It's like a big hole of what you don't want. Notice it. Oh, I don't want that. I don't want him. I don't want her. I don't want this place. I don't want. Okay, got it. The more you say what you don't want, the universe really only hears the end of that. I don't want to be sick. Well, the universe hears sick really loud and clear. So I turn it around. I want perfect health. Yeah, that's where you're going. So I leave that with you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Look at your intentions. Look at all of the successes you've had in your life. Think about how you can be just a little bit more proactive for what you want, putting out what you want, because you can do it. And part of becoming you is getting in touch with those things that make you feel most alive. Have a beautiful day. Until next time, this is Isla Allgood.